So your platform restricts speech.
Our platform promotes speech unless people violate our rules.
And in a specific direction.
In any direction.
But I don't want to say his name. The guy who calls for death gets a suspension. The guy who insinuates death gets a permanent ban.
But Tim, you're misinterpreting what I'm saying, and I feel like you're doing it deliberately. It's not about one particular thing. It's about a pattern and practice of violating our rules.
And you have a pattern and practice of banning only one faction of people.
I don't agree with that.
Recently published an article where they looked at 22 high-profile bannings from 2015 and found 21 of them were only on one side of the cultural debate.
But I don't look at the political spectrum of people when I'm looking at their tweets.
Right, you have a bias.
I don't know who they are.
You're biased, and you're targeting specific individuals because your rules support this perspective.
No, I don't agree with that.
Well, all right, guys. So we have some very, very, very interesting inside information or alleged inside information in regards to Elon Musk buying Twitter. Yes, I know another Elon Musk Twitter story, but hey, guys, I'm gonna tell you, I mean, that's the majority of the news, man. I mean, the freak out is still happening, and there's more information that is leaking about Elon Musk's motives and how all this went down. And I'm gonna tell you guys, what we're getting here in regards to the information basically just confirms what we all knew about Elon Musk, which is that the guy is passionate in principle on free speech, as he reportedly was vehemently opposed to Twitter's ban on Trump. And as time goes on, it kind of seems like there was a series of moves that was made by Twitter that just kind of pissed Elon Musk off. Now, banning Trump was not the straw that broke the camel's back, but it seemed to get the ball rolling in regards to Elon Musk thinking about, you know what, maybe I should just buy Twitter, right? Let me just nip the problem in the bud, just buy the company and, you know, control it myself, right? That seems to be kind of what happened. So we're going to read about this. But first, before I get in there, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You can support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. Elon Musk vehemently opposed Twitter's decision to ban former President Donald Trump, saying the social media giant was wrong for censoring a sitting president, according to a report. Jared Birchall, Musk's top assistant, who has been described as the point man for the Tesla CEO's $44 billion takeover bid of Twitter, told an associate that the idea of banning a sitting president from Twitter was insane, according to the Wall Street Journal. Geez, I wish the left would think the same way. Any principled person, any person with any common sense would know that banning the sitting president on Twitter is an insane idea. They will understand that that is a slippery slope that we really don't want to go down, right? Except the left does when it suits them. Musk reportedly remains dismayed that Trump is still not permitted to tweet, according to the paper, which cited unnamed sources close to the situation. Since news of the takeover was announced, Musk has given no indication as to whether he will allow Trump back on the platform. Trump supporters have been energized by the prospect of Musk taking control of Twitter and overhauling its content moderation policy. Trump, for his part, has vowed not to return to Twitter, instead touting his own social media platform, Truth Social. Meanwhile, Musk, in a rare public reference to the situation last week, said Truth Social is due for a name change. Quote, Truth Social, terrible name, exists because Twitter censored free speech. Musk tweeted, should be called Trumpet instead. So Elon hasn't come out here and said directly that he will let Trump back on the platform, but I think it's safe to assume that because he was furious that Trump was censored on the platform in the first place, and the fact that he decided to actually buy the platform to allow free speech, that he probably will actually allow Trump back on the platform, okay? Now, Trump himself, he's saying that he's not coming back to Twitter. Probably a lot of it has to do with his ego, but some of it also has to do with business, right? It's probably a conflict of interest for him to be on Twitter and Truth Social at the same time, since they're now competitors. But I find it fascinating how after Elon Musk bought Twitter, now all of a sudden Trump is like, hey, I'm back, right? I'm on Truth Social. I'm going to start, truthing here. So I wouldn't be surprised if Trump really ratcheted up his messaging on Truth Social, because he knows that if he doesn't, and Elon Musk actually takes over this company, that it's going to be the end for Truth Social, right? So Trump is seeing the writing on the wall, and like a businessman, he's trying to get ahead of the game before it's too late. The 45th president was removed from Twitter following the January 6, 2021 Capitol riots, in which his supporters sought to disrupt Congress certifying Joe Biden's election. Trump was accused of inciting the crowd and then not doing enough to urge his followers to leave. Twitter's decision to ban Trump was a key point of disagreement between Musk and then CEO Jack Dorsey. Dorsey was initially opposed to removing Trump from Twitter, but came around to the idea after reaching the conclusion that the former president violated the service's terms of usage, according to the Journal. Okay, so here's the thing about Jack Dorsey. He's an interesting character because he's got a whole lot of backlash and criticism, particularly for the right, in regards to him being complicit in Twitter censorship. However, the more I read about Jack Dorsey, the more I come to the conclusion that he wasn't necessarily the problem from an ideological standpoint. I think he was ideologically opposed to banning Trump and censoring people based off their political views. But where he is guilty is the fact that he bent over for the woke mob. Okay, he just took it up the rear from them and decided to censor and to ban Trump despite the fact that he ideologically didn't agree with it. And I'm like, dude, you're the founder, you're the CEO of this company, you need to fight back against the mob, you need to stand on your principles. But he wasn't standing on his principles, he folded, right? So he does deserve criticism for folding, but I think that he ideologically was against it. At least that's what it seems like. Nonetheless, Dorsey and Musk remained on friendly terms and maintained a dialogue, according to the paper. Dorsey whispered to Musk that Twitter should be privately owned company, according to the report, which details how other billionaires urged the Tesla boss to follow through on his takeover of the social media platform. Dorsey, the Twitter co-founder who stepped down as CEO last year, has endorsed Musk's imminent purchase of the company, saying that the world's richest man is a quote-unquote singular solution for the San Francisco-based firm. The Journal also reported that Musk mused about possibly buying Twitter earlier this year after speaking to the CEO of the Babylon Bee. Musk and Babylon Bee CEO Seth Dillon spoke in March after the satirical right-wing news site was banned from Twitter for mocking Rachel Levine, the transgender Biden administration official. The Bee ran a satirical news story awarding Levine's its honors of Man of the Year, prompting Twitter to impose the ban. Dillon told the Journal that after he confirmed to him that the Bee was indeed removed from the site, Musk floated the possibility of buying Twitter. Okay, so it seems like, again, the ban of Trump got the ball rolling, but when Twitter went to ban the Babylon Bee, a satirical news site, that is the straw that broke the camel's back for Elon Musk. There's like, oh, no, Twitter is banning satire now? Yeah, I got to buy this company, right? And it's kind of boss to think about how this guy is so rich, right? He has so much power, so many resources, that on a dime, he can just be like, all right, you know what? Screw this. I'm just about to pay $44 billion for this company and just take it over because I don't like the way they're running it. I mean, it's insane to think about. If Musk completes his takeover, Dorsey stands to gain financially, as he would go home with a $978 million payout. Dorsey owns 2.4% of Twitter shares, which translates into 18,042,428 shares, according to SEC filings. Musk was also persuaded to buy Twitter after consulting fellow billionaire friends who, like him, share a distaste over what they perceived as heavy-handed censorship policy, according to the Journal. Other associates who leaned on Musk to make a move on Twitter include members of the so-called PayPal Mafia, a group of executives who helped found and build the online payment site PayPal. Peter Thiel, the billionaire investor who co-founded PayPal, and David Sachs, the founding COO of PayPal, were among the group egging Musk on, according to the Journal. Musk also reportedly received advice from his brother, Kimball Musk, a restaurateur who also serves on the board of Tesla. All right, so there was other billionaires telling Elon Musk, hey, you need to do this because we're opposed to censorship, which is good to see that not all the billionaires are rich Mark Zuckerberg liberal types that like censorship. So that being said, there's been a whole lot of speculation about who's in and who's out at Elon Musk's new company, okay? As I think a whole lot of woke revolutionaries and far leftists are probably just going to quit, okay? They're probably going to quit, try to start their own Twitter. But some executives appear to be out as well, too, and that should be no surprise. As one of the first stories to come out about who's out involves Twitter's so-called chief censor, Miss Vijaya Gad, okay, who reportedly earned $17 million a year, right? Imagine being paid $17 million to censor people, okay? And allegedly, she was one of the top advocates for censoring conservatives at Twitter. She was responsible for censoring the Hunter Biden story, right, that came from the New York Post. And allegedly, she cried like a little baby when news came out that Elon Musk was in fact buying Twitter. Okay, so apparently, she's on the way out. Okay, as Elon Musk has reported no confidence in Twitter's current management. Again, you got to imagine that the person that was responsible for censoring the Hunter Biden story is probably going to be on the way out, especially consider how Elon Musk came out and said that that was incredibly inappropriate for that to be done, right? He's probably not going to want her a part of the team. You know, hey, I would probably cry too if I was going to lose $17 million a year. So that being said, there's another Twitter executive that may be on the way out the door. And this could be the other chief censor at Twitter, who is the CEO, Parag Agrawal, right? There's a whole lot of Indians getting laid off at Twitter, apparently. As there was a news report that came out that said he was quote-unquote tired at the all-hands meeting in which all the woke Twitter employees was boo-hoo whining and complaining that Elon Musk is going to take over the company and allow conservatives to speak freely, right? He said he was tired. He said he made some mistakes, okay, in dealing with Elon Musk. One of them probably was trying to put the man on the board of directors so they could silence him, right? Which prompted Elon Musk to actually, just take over the whole company. So that being said, again, that guy apparently is very pro-censorship. And Elon Musk is not pro-censorship, which means that there's probably a mismatch going on here that is going to end up with Elon Musk firing him and replacing him with a new CEO. So there's actually a story out about Elon Musk reportedly basically having a new CEO in mind. So let's read here. Elon Musk has reportedly lined up a new Twitter CEO, shares ideas for monetizing tweets. Elon Musk has lined up a new CEO for Twitter and told banks that agreed to help fund his $44 billion acquisition offer about his plans to monetize tweets, according to a new report from Reuters. A source told Reuters that Musk has decided on who he plans to appoint as the new chief executive of Twitter, but the source didn't name the person. Twitter's current CEO, Parag Agrawal, who took over the role after Jack Dorsey stepped down in November, is expected to remain CEO until the deal is complete. Reuters reports that Musk told Twitter chairman Brett Taylor that he does not have confidence in the company's management, which is a sentiment that he also stated in SEC filings. Agrawal will be set for a significant compensation package. If the deal closes and Musk brings in new management, he will receive $38.7 million due to a clause in his contract, according to the company's latest proxy filings. Bruh, this dude can just retire and never do anything again, right? I don't know what he's tired of at this meeting. Maybe he's tired of dealing with the stress, but I'm like, bruh, I would be stress-free. I'm about to get paid $40 million. I'm going to go live, right, on some island or something like that and chill, okay? That's what I would be doing if I was him, okay? A $40 million payout. Bro, some of these people greedy, dog, right? Once you get $40, $50 million, I'm like, dude, you can live for the rest of your life off of that and never lose any money, right? And still gain enough off of appreciation to beat inflation, right? To always be rich. It's kind of nuts. Reuters reports that Musk told banks that he plans to develop more ways to make money from tweets. For example, he said he plans to create a way to monetize tweets that go viral or include important information. He also suggested the idea of charging a fee when third-party sites quote or embed tweets from verified accounts. The Washington Post reports that Musk also bought up the idea of paying influencers to create content for the platform, which is a business model that has proven to be successful for TikTok. Musk is also said to be interested in the idea of subscription services that the company could offer. In deleted tweets from earlier this month, Musk suggested significant changes to Twitter Blue, which is the social media giant's subscription service that's currently priced at $2.99 per month. Musk suggested cutting the price, adding a way to pay in Dogecoin, and banning advertising. In another now deleted tweet, Musk said he wants to move Twitter away from its dependence on advertising for much of its revenue. Yeah, I think that that's actually a good idea because that keeps the platform from being censored, okay? Because a lot of these platforms aren't censoring because they want to censor. Because ultimately today, these platforms really don't care because they want as many people on the platform as possible. The more people using the platform, the more eyeballs, the more advertising dollars in theory. That's if the advertisers don't give a damn. But the advertisers do give a damn, and they demand that these platforms censor their content. Therefore, they have to do it because the advertisers are their customers, right? Those are the real customers of the platform. Musk also told the banks he would crack down on executive and board pay at Twitter to slash costs. Reuters also reports that in his pitch to the banks, Musk said Twitter's gross margin is much lower than other social media services such as Facebook and Pinterest, and argued that there are ways to run the company in a more cost-effective way. Bloomberg News reported this week that Musk spoke to bankers about job cuts as a part of his pitch to the lenders. Musk reportedly won't make decisions on job cuts until he receives ownership of the company. All right, so with that being said, it seems like all the woke revolutionaries that are crying and whining about Elon Musk owning the company, they're probably going to get their jobs cut, especially the people that are responsible for censorship, and they can go start their own company, right? The same thing they advocated for before Elon Musk bought the company. Start your own Twitter and see if that works, okay? But yeah, the writing's on the wall for a whole lot of these people at Twitter, and I'm going to tell you, man, I don't like seeing people lose their jobs. I really don't. But the executives, the ones that get paid millions of dollars to censor people and to sway things politically, I really am not shedding any tears over the fact that they're losing their jobs and getting $1 million payouts for it, right? So again, if they're that passionate about it, they can go start their own Twitter. So again, with that being said, I found this story to be fascinating, how Elon Musk was furious about Trump being banned, and it seemed like the straw that broke the camel's back was the Babylon Bee, a satirical news site that finally prompted the guy to say, F it, I'm just going to buy the company. It is what it is. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.